What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 4. This is Game 2 of the best of 3 between Power Rangers and Fab 5. Game number 1, well, Fab 5 just got wrecked by Power Rangers. 17-minute GG, although they were, kind of generous in the time just because they could have let Power Rangers slowly end the game by taking all the other sets of Raxes. But the game was over by 17, and, well, Power Rangers, we'll see if they can do it again. We'll see if Fab 5 can keep their hopes for Division 1 alive. This is going to determine who's going to guarantee a spot in Div 2 and who can stay for chances in Div 1. But either way, here on HeflaTV 1, going to bring you this potentially last game of this series. I'm Mike Loris, got Black out of here as well, and man, that last game was just brutal. Like, I don't even know what other words I could use.
And a massacre, slaughter. I could think of a few other choice words, but I'd probably be censored. It was rough, I will agree, and I did come up with a question in my mind: what patch are we playing in? Because that felt TI4 quick. That was quick.
Yeah, I mean, that usually don't go for those super aggressive strategies, but it really wasn't like that super aggressive either. So it could have been the case that Fabulous 5 found slightly better team fights, and then Power Rangers would have found themselves into a slightly later portion of the game, and they still would have had to stack Shadow Fiend, but I think Shadow Fiend just got way too big way too quickly. I think it was really that gank in the middle lane where Fab 5 ended up giving 2.5 kills to the Shadow Fiend that really just turned the tide. But we have actually a game here, so we should probably drop the first game as much as we can. Ban's looking fairly normal as Fab 5 grabbed the Visage, Jakiro, Vengeful Spirit, possibly setting themselves up for a Jar Ranger, which Power Ranger will be prepared for, grabbing the Slark, Scarith Mage, and Puck as their first 3.
Thing is, with Fab 5, they've opted again for the Vengeful Spirit. This will probably want to be handled by Ivs. I'm hoping he gets a better game than the first one, because he did not have a very fun time in the slightest. Then we got the Jakiro Visage. Jakiro I do love as a core or a support. He did take a bit of a nerf, but not that huge in my mind. And then we get the Visage Drow that you were calling. I mean, this one was quite obvious when we saw the Visage and the Drow not banned. They're going to have some good tower push, but if they cannot get early towers with this combination, then they are going to suffer for it.
Yeah, the late game Jakiro tends to fall off a huge amount. Ice Path setup is nice, but there are better ways to set up for a gank or a team fight. Drow Ranger, as far as her late game output or damage output, is going to be generally pretty high. Up against the Blinking Slark, it will be somewhat restricted. So Power Rangers with the Slark have the Drow Ranger almost on lockdown, not completely. The Darkseer pick is not something that I really would have expected right now. I don't really see any clear synergy with the rest of the Power Rangers side, though I suppose just creating illusions of everyone at Fab 5 is going to be really nice. I believe the illusions of Drow Ranger, since they do get marksmanship, I guess if you make a replica of her, it'll do a lot of damage, but that doesn't seem really worth it. Huh.
I did not expect a Spirit Breaker. I was going to come back to the Darkseer for a moment and say, one of the other nice things about this Darkseer is you can vacuum the Drow Ranger out of position and disable her ultimate, just by getting close enough with the vacuum. It's one of the nice combinations, and you've also got Darkseer and Puck, so vacuum, Dream Coil. So there is some synergy. It's not completely unknown, but the Spirit Breaker, well, look who's back. We're going to be looking for some charge, some aggression, and hopefully a boatload of kills. But for the final pick, we do get an Invoker for the Fab 5, so they're going to try to fight into this one. Matchup-wise, I don't know, I'm favouring Power Rangers' aggression here. So I suppose we should get the formality that we've forgotten out of the way. And who are you going to put your money on, Mike?
Well, you know what? I always underestimate how broken Drow Ranger can get. That being said, up against Darkseer, Spirit Breaker, and Slark, Power Rangers just have so many answers. And after last game, I think I'm going to put my money on Power Rangers. Fabulous 5, though, have a great draft. Like, I'm not going to say that they don't. This is close to ideal for Drow Ranger drafts. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough after last game.
The one that I would possibly change, I might get rid of the Jakiro and maybe pick up another Aura hero. It's uncommon, but even the Beastmaster after his buffs is quite nice.
Yeah, it would make them a lot better at fighting, but a lot less. It'll decrease their pushing power. So I guess it's kind of just like a balance thing. It's like, how balanced do you want your team to be? And this is a pretty direct, we're just going to go ahead and, bulldoze down your towers kind of strategy. I expect there to be an Exhort Invoker, although Wex Invoker won't be too terrible either. I guess just attack speed plus Drow Ranger Aura is not exactly a huge combination, but it could certainly get the job done. So whether or not it's Exhort or Invoker, Fab 5, they're going to be looking to play this game at the very least a lot more aggressively than the last. And well, Power Rangers, we kind of glanced over the Spirit Breaker pickup. It's another hero that gets right into the face of Drow Ranger. It's another very aggressive hero. Power Rangers, they will be able to fight very early on if Fab 5 want to push very early on.
Yeah, if Fab 5 want to push early on, I can see it getting punished quite heavily. I mean, you go anywhere near a tower, oh, charge. Suddenly blink Slark. And it's a Ditara Slark as well. This is going to be painful.
Well, we'll see if Fab 5 can make it happen, because they are down one game, and they are going to send this Jakiro, played by Villic, down towards the bottom lane. Got double ringer protection, expecting an aggressive lane. He's going to find a decent lane for the Jakiro, just up against Slark, so Jakiro should be just fine. Keck is going to be handling the mid lane Invoker. With Quas Orbs active and a Blades of Attack, it does indicate that he wants to go Wex. But up towards top, Fab 5, Ivs is going to be on the Visage, Samai on the Vengeful Spirit, and Tib going to be playing the Drow Ranger as a defensive tri-lane.
And on the flip side of that coin, of course, for the Power Rangers, we've got Cheshire Cat handling the Darkseer, and I'm expecting big things from him. Over on the Spirit Breaker, we've got Sonico. Sonny should be looking for the aggressive charges, just all around fight. We've got J4 on the Skywrath Mage. Over in the mid lane, we've got Sashlo on the Puck, once more reprising his role from game number 1. And finally, rounding off the team, we've got Ditira on the Slark. And well, Ditira Slark, this is going to hurt.
There aren't many heroes that you're like, oh, that's a thing, but Ditira Slark is a thing. It's going to start early up on top with 2 Ion Shells up. You can't beat 2 Ion Shells. Maybe they're going to... No, Visage is going to get picked off by J4. That's a charge without Greater Bash. I mean, it's just a guaranteed stun, especially if you're that close. So Fab 5, their entire draft, their entire game plan is to be either always on the defensive or always kiting. And when you're caught in a position like that, you are doing neither.
I really fear right now for Fab 5's life, especially after they've lost. I believe they lost both runes there. 1 bounty rune to Skywrath, 1 to... Yeah, they lost both bounty runes. That's going to be very unpleasant. That's 200 experience and, well, the gold going towards Power Rangers. That's going to be a nasty start, let alone the first blood on Ivs. Second game in a row, Ivs has been first blood. Man, he really is unlucky, isn't he?
Yeah, or he's just really good at taking the bullet for his team, just so... It's better him than anyone else, I suppose. So, I guess that's kind of nice if your support is always the one getting picked off, but either way, top lane, it's going to be a real slugfest. Fab 5 should have, the lane presence advantage just because they have all these range heroes, but the ability of Power Rangers to close the distances onto these range heroes, who are also very soft, by the way, is huge. So Fab 5, though they would be pretty comfortable normally, this is not one of those lanes. And over towards bottom lane, Ditchara putting some serious heat onto Villic. They're suffering the CS, both heroes are, but they're both putting out a lot of damage to each other. J4 getting way too ahead of himself up towards top, and we'll get hit with the Magic Missile. Okay, so that's not how this top lane for Power Rangers is supposed to go. Your Skywrath Mage is not supposed to be in front.
Yeah, they tried to engage onto Tip, but Gust onto a charging Spirit Breaker knocked him back and stopped the charge. Then it all went downhill from there. I mean, I can understand the want to be aggressive, and they're pinging Tip again. They really want to kill that Drow. This is going to be an aggressive game. I think we are in for a treat here, Mike. Here we go. Charge. No Gust this time. Damage is going through. But now comes the Gust. Going to knock out the Spirit Breaker of Sonny a bit too far back, and they're not going to be able to pick up any kill on any of these heroes. Instead, they're just going to have to retreat and turn and take a few shots on their way out. This is the downside. Once they've engaged, they have no way currently to hold a target.
Quick sprint.
Yeah, and it's going to be really difficult to actually get that one pretty much ever. I mean, they could use just differential and movement speed. They could maybe cross their fingers once Nico gets the point in Greater Bash. They have an additional stun there, but Skywrath Mage, though he's good at starting things off with the long range of Concussive Shot, his burst damage right now isn't that high. His disabling power is very, very slim with Concussive, and they are just not... They need that one additional stun. If this Skywrath Mage was a Vengeful Spirit, then I'm sure there would be kills, but they're going to try again. They're not going to let that stop them. They're going to go once again straight onto the Visage this time with double Ion Shells active. They'll get that kill at the trade of J4. Now looking for Tib. They're not going to draw tower aggro just yet. Ion Shell's still doing work, but this is only a level 1 skill, though. Ion Shell level 1 is really good. Tib surviving for a little while longer. So Nico's going to charge forward once again. Not into the correct target. He's going to go deep into the trees. Really wants this kill. Will get it, but at the trade of his own life. That's a 2 for 2, I believe, and Treasure Cat should be just fine. Don't really know who that favors unless J4 gets a little bit more action up on this top lane. Has Boots of Speed, and Zmai does not, so this should be a kill. One more bolt. I don't think that's going to be enough. It will just barely be enough. Scarif Mage is going to grab that one, and with his boots, going to make it out probably safely. Keck, yeah, can't intercept him, so it will be a dive by the Scarif Mage that will go unpunished.
Well, we were looking for aggression. We're over 2 kills a minute right now. I think we're both happy. We're looking for a brawl, a slugfest, a slobberknocker, whatever word you want to use to describe it, and they're setting up again. Look at this. Sonny, Iron Shell, looking to charge. And they can. They're brawling and trading in their favor when they're lacking the lockdown of A, the puck, or B, the slug. So, it should be a good early game for PR. Then again, Sashlo taking a lot of damage in that mid lane. He did eat quite the nasty amount of cold snap damage from the Quaswex Invoker.
Even though this top lane Power Rangers not working with those other 2 heroes just yet, the other 2 heroes are doing just fine, as both the mid lane and the top lane, CS-wise, are pretty much completely even. So it's a wash down in the bottom lane, it's a wash over in mid, and up towards top. It's so far a slight win for Power Rangers. I don't think they have a huge advantage just yet. Actually, Ivs is going to get pushed through the trees. Actually, how did he get there? Is there a hole there? They must have dug it through, but he's going to regret that decision because Saniko is going to get initiation done for him. They're going to jump right to Tib. Gus going to buy the Drow a little bit more space. One more arrow shot won't kill off the Spirit Breaker, but now the Iron Shell is going to chase forward for his Mind Drow. At the same time, it's going to be Ivs to take a fall as Shasha's going to come in with the Haste Rune, chasing down for this Vengeful Spirit. And speaking of chasing down, here comes the Space Cow. Tib also getting dove by the Darkseers. Maya is all but screwed, and let's see if the Drow Ranger can survive. No, she's dead also. Trying to go for J4. So many heroes so wounded on the Power Ranger side. Where is the Invoker here? This is... I mean, you generally want to get a couple more levels before you really want to move around as a Wex Invoker, but so many people are so injured. A Zeus Ultimate would be fantastic right about now.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Zeus ulti anyone? But a TP on Keck would have equally done quite a bit there. Tornado, EMP, Cold Snap, that would have been enough to secure a few kills.
Yeah, well, either way, it didn't happen. So Fab 5 getting dove very, very aggressively, and Power Rangers playing a little bit fast and loose, and wouldn't really expect anything else from them, but they don't get punished. Ditchy-Ra in the bottom lane, not having a good time as the Slark, but now that he has Shadow Dance, he will have a much, much better time, as all the chip damage in the world won't be able to outrace Shadow Dance and Bottle, so they have that. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult lane or a harder lane for Jakiro moving forward.
It's going to be a hard lane for Jakiro, and right now the next item, we're probably going to be looking at maybe treads into a Blink Dagger, or hell, maybe straight Blink Dagger and just look to kill Villic. Both of those are options, but top lane, I'm seeing pings. They could be looking for a fight. Ivs is being very aggressive in his positioning, immediately comes up the concussive shot. Are we going to see the trade of damage? Yes, we are. Here comes the cow, gets the stun onto Ivs, but with the Iron Shell, they need to keep up. A couple of greater bashes will do it. In comes the first magic missile, but again, Sonny has so much armor. The Drow's not going to be able to bring him down very easily. Hell, this is a very heavily armored team. Now in comes that Quaswex Invoker. Tornado to fly. Cheshire Cat taking some good damage here. Cold Snap comes through. Down goes the Darkseer. Cheshire Cat will take a fall. Finally.
It only took one teleportation in. It wasn't that hard for Fab 5, and if that happened a couple minutes earlier, things could have gone a lot better for them, but it's a kill on the Darkseer, and getting a kill on this top lane for Power Rangers, getting a kill on either of these two really bulky heroes in the Darkseer or the Spirit Breaker is really darn hard, but you know what's a little bit easier? Having Saniko charge all the way down towards bottom where they are tracking the Jakiro, and here comes Ichirada, closes in distance, only one level pounds, goes into the Shadow Dance just to preserve his HP pool as best he can, and Villic is going to take a fall. Gotta remember that even though with all this aggression happening up towards top, Spirit Breaker is still Spirit Breaker. He can just cross the entire map within a matter of seconds and really punish you. But up towards top, J4 is going to hit a Magic Missile, Soul Assumption, and a couple of arrow shots. The Drow Ranger damage, it is still very high. Everyone's only juiced up by +9, but that'll be a lot higher once she hits just 300 more experience points. Marksmanship bonus will increase the damage of everyone on Fab 5.
Alright, and now here we go again. I see a Space Scout charge. Oh, he cancelled it. Oh, Sonny not going to keep charging through and just commit. Disappointed. Cancelling a charge is one of the least manly things in Dota. Oh, here we go again. Charging this time on Tib, and he's got no supports with him. This is going to be very rough. All it'll take is one greater bash, possibly, or hell, a vacuum. But there's the Gust that's going to buy some time. Frozen Arrows, trying to slow the Spirit Breaker down enough, but now you're in trouble. That's a Surge Spirit Breaker. One right click could be enough. Two, stun comes through, Magic Missile is there. Now everything could go wrong. Gust gonna break that charge, and well, the charging Spirit Breaker this time didn't pay off. But Still, you got Keck trying to trade blows. The Invoker standing strong. Now in kind of puck from Sashlo to even these odds. Orbs there, silence. Dream Coil on 3. This is a good fight from EMP. Going to drop though. Drain the puck's mana. He has nothing left in the tank, and Cheshire Cat has to leg it as well. Will almost go down to the spell name failing me. Almost goes down to the Wave of Terror. There we go. Wow. And everything will just scale down in terms of aggression, at least for a few moments. Where's that Spirit Breaker? Charging top lane. Oh god, he got an Iron Shell. Is he going to commit to this, I wonder? He surely can't.
Well, he does have a level of Greater Bash, although I don't really think he does, just because he didn't get a single freaking one. If he got one there, it would have been a kill, but he hit, let's say, enough times so that the expected value would be 1, yet he got 0. So Spirit Breaker a little bit unlucky there. Drow Ranger very lucky to walk away from that one, and well, Spirit Breaker has just crossed his fingers a little bit more next time. While all that was happening on the top lane, bottom lane, it was another death of Villic. And speaking of death of Villic, we have another initiation by Slark, this time helped with the Darkseer. Ion Shell Slark is scary, and with the Spirit Breaker coming in to secure the kill, Jakiro will be going down on the bottom lane. That's 3 kills in total, or 3 kill participations for Dichirada down towards bottom, and Jakiro 0-3-0. His tower pushing is going alright, I suppose, but only half HP versus a Slark is... You would expect a little bit more from your Jakiro, and they need more from their Jakiro right now. He's just serving as a source of food, and speaking of food, we have mid lane Keck. Gonna turn around for a Cold Snap. Nico will be interrupted out of his charge, but he does have level 6. That's not gonna work against the Ghost Walk, and that will be the stop of it for now. Although the Spirit Breaker now has, you know, much more guaranteed kill potential. If you land a charge and another strike on someone, they're probably gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, the Nether Strike does so much damage, and he's probably going to be carrying dust around from now on. Here comes another charge, going top this time. Well, this guy's not going to stop, is he? If he goes on the Drow, can he actually kill the Drow, I wonder? Nope, Gust is there, stopping the charge. I do love this use of Gust. Tib doing okay in this game. Ibs, however, will go down to the park, and now comes that Nether Strike, and just looking to chip away on Tib. A couple of right clicks could do it. Charge once more. And the urn. This could be very bad for Tib. Then again, Gus going to buy a bit more time. No Greater Bash yet. Very close fight up here. There's the Greater Bash and a second urn. This should surely be the kill. Ice Arrows, however, might get a counter kill. It's going to be in the tree line. Safe for now, but Sly will come in with that Wave of Terror and clean that one up. Then again, right behind him is the puck and that Scarlet Mage. Sashlo will light him up, and Keck might take a fall as well. The Cold Snap will, however, be enough in combination with the Soul Assumption, and this fight is just going nuts. Ibs trying to get something in exchange for the Invoker's death, but not able to finish off Sashlo, and he will escape with his life.
So 2 for 3 in favor of Power Rangers, I believe 2 for 4 it says. Okay, so yeah, a whole bunch more heroes on Fab 5 actually ended up going down. Speaking of going down, Dichirada is going to teleport in to defend his mid lane. Tower will go down, but Villic will go down in even exchange. So yeah, Dichirada, the only hero from Power Rangers not up on that top lane fight, and wasn't really the best. The Slark could have cleaned up really huge there if he was in fact in the area, but you know, I think it went good enough for Power Rangers. They're not going to be too upset about that, because now they have the Blink Dagger on the puck. Blink Dagger on Slark, not going to be coming up for a little while longer, but Power Treads, and he is capable of putting out some serious damage, as we have already seen. Fab 5, their damage output is very large, but if they get, you know, initiated upon, if they are not able to peel away from the Spirit Breaker, it's all over for them. And speaking of Spirit Breaker, he sees Keck on the bottom lane. Is there dust? There is dust. And Keck, he's just going to hope that his Tornado saves him, or that Nighttime saves him. That's a pretty fortunate time for night to fall.
Yeah, it's going to keep him safe in the fog of war, but I'm just waiting for the next kill. I have to keep an eye on this Spirit Breaker, because he is the linchpin here for Power Rangers aggression. He can be everywhere and take so little damage because of his huge 7 armor. Oh, here we go. Looking for the kill on Keck. The dust's going to be there as soon as he pops that Ghost Walk, and he's just in so much trouble. The Nether Strike, Tornado, EMP. Not going to be enough, surely. Dust drops, and one more right click coming through from Sonny will secure that kill. Ditirao will also escape on hardly any health, and he's going to start regening up with that Shadow Dance. But top lane, equivalent exchange seems to be the order of business. Scarf Mage will finish off the Jakiro, and Tib looking for something. He's looking but not finding. And just take a look at how evasive Zashlo's being. Last second he gets out with his Blink Dagger into the tree line.
In Fab 5 they have familiars, so they can in theory find this puck, but while they're looking, their bottom lane is kind of getting destroyed, so they probably should switch their focus away from the puck and down towards bottom, although whoever does go over here is going to be in for a world of hurt unless they get a gust into Ditchy Needs Shadow Dance right now. He will dodge Magic Missile. Now into the Shadow Dance he goes, has 0 mana, so EMP will do nothing. And that will be a clean escape for everyone in Power Rangers. No, well, of course. Someone left behind, Visage. I think he got his teleportation canceled by Shotzo's Coil. So that will be a kill for Shotzo and another hero that can't reinforce the bottom lane. Now Villic is in a little bit of trouble. Vacuum back by Cheshire Cat. And here comes the Space Cow, is not too far away either. Also has level 4 charge, I believe. He's going to plow right through the Familiars, go straight for Villic. Does he have another strike? Not for another 10, but he doesn't even need it either. That's going to be yet another kill for Power Rangers. Cheshire Cat taking a little bit of damage from Familiars, but Drow Ranger Aura is not on right now. And even if it was, the additional damage is only plus 23 at this stage. This is going to be maybe even Familiars dying, but at the very least, this top tier 1 is going to fall. And there's no trade in sight for Fab 5 this time.
No, there's not, unless they really want to commit to defend this one, but they've got to TP into a Puck, Spirit Breaker, and J4 on out Skyrath with a full mana buff, with Mystic Flower available. This is not something they can happily defend, and, well, it'll be a tower for nothing in favour of the Power Rangers. Then again, it seems the Fab 5 aren't going to stop their aggression at all. They're going to pop the smoke and go for Roshan instead. They're going to play objective gaming. With a Roshan on their side, who do they put the Aegis on? I'm guessing Tib. If they put the Aegis on Tib, that's going to be something. And take a look at how quickly Roshan falls with the negative armor. I love this pickup of the medallion by Ibs. It is one of the single best cheap items on the Visage. Then again, they're going to find Ditira, and he's going to come in, look for Smite. Did it get snatched? No, it didn't. Ibs on the Visage has the Aegis. That's not the target you really want, as Ditira will at least bring down Ibs. But now, the fight's going to start on the back line. Sonic will rotate in. Doesn't have any mana because of that EMP. Good EMP by Keck, but down goes the Visage, who's going to come back up with that Aegis, and there's just nothing. They lose the Invoker. They're going to lose Ibs now. Sashlo is just going to come in for the extra gold. Hell, steal the kill. Unstoppable spree on Sashlo. This is a show of force coming out of Power Rangers.
So Fab 5 looking for the pretty standard trade of we're going to go ahead and kill Roshan with the Drow Ranger, damage and the Visage minus armor. That is something that you can very easily do whenever you grab these two in combination with each other. The problem is with that their Jakiro was not there, got picked off immediately just because he was spotted out by the Skyrath Mage, got hit with the Mystic Flare, or most of the Mystic Flare, and dropped immediately. And whoa, they're not done yet because they're going to have eyes on Villic and Tibbs, silencing the Drow Rangers so that they don't have a gust. That's something you don't see every day, but it will get a kill on the Villic. Tornado might save the day. No, it won't. It'll put a little bit of damage on Shacho and Sneeko as J4 also can hit with Magic Missile, will take a fall. Sneeko looking for a charge out, but gets swapped back. He can't fight his way out. Sneeko will also get picked off. Maybe Power Rangers at this time have bitten off a little more than you can chew. Sneeko will not be able to charge out away to safety, and well, that's just 3 heroes going deep into the enemy jungle, 3 for 1 in favor of Fab 5. That's the type of scenario where they have room to kite around. They have room in order to be on the offensive versus these heroes, after taking the brunt, of course. But those are the type of fights that Fab 5 have to take, and they cannot take anything but those fights.
Yeah, you were saying earlier, their strategy is going to be to kite. How do you really kite 100% effectively versus a Spirit Breaker and 2 Blink Dagger heroes? You can't really. Especially, oh no, it's not even a Blink Dagger Slark. I see a Shadow Blade Slark. That's even more scary. Ivs doesn't even know what's about to befall him. And he's possibly dead. The Panther's there, the Shadow, the Dark Pact. Surely he's dead. One more right click. Ice Path will actually catch him, and Ditira could be in some trouble. Now comes the turnaround, throws some damage in response onto Ditira, but he's surely away. He did have that burst of speed from the Shadow Dance, and he's regenning up now. He's completely safe. But mid lane, Skyrath Mage will bring down the Invoker, and now Zmai is looking to get a counter kill onto Sunny, but that's not exactly an easy feat. However, Tib will find himself the Skyrath Mage on that mid lane. This fight never ends. This is exactly what we wanted to see.
Okay, so they don't end up killing off the Visage because Visage has gone for a maxed out Grave Chill Gravekeeper's Cloak build. This is so very rarely the build that you see. Wait, no, they're not done yet. Spirit Breaker has eyes on someone. This time it's going to be Tib. No Gust this time. Nether Strike and Mask of Madness available for Sneeko. Zmai's going to swap Tib out, but I don't know if that's really going to help because all they need is a couple more hits. Shacho will fall before Tib, however, making it so that the Drow Ranger's death is not going to be too terrible for Fab 5. They're also going to chase down Sneeko. Will be brought down as well. Power Rangers should probably just avoid this entire area because whenever they go up there, bad things seem to happen. But for the Power Rangers side, they are just falling short consistently, just a little bit too much at killing off these heroes and then getting out alive. But you know what? That's still fine because they're almost doubling up the Fab 5 team as far as kills are concerned. and they still have some pretty decent item aggression. But you know, this Visage build is so defensive, but I guess in those particular situations it works out for you. Usually you see Soul Assumption maxed out by 7.
Yeah, I mean, Soul Assumption maxed out gives you a huge damage capability, but this defensive build, for now, appears to be working. I suppose he needed it to survive, possibly, the Spirit Breaker, but now they're going to look for Villic. The concussive shot will go, but Keck is set up ready. Oh, this could be such a trap. This could go so horribly wrong, but Ditira in the backlines will find himself a Zmai. Swap will be there to keep himself alive for a few seconds longer. The Ice Path holding Ditira, but nope, the Dark Seer's Ion Shell will be enough to clean that one up, and now Ditira will go down to Keck with that EMP. Cheshire Cat on a Mega Kill as well, which is one good thing to point out, but Keck will have to get out with that Ghost Walk. Gust will come through. I hear a Spirit Breaker. Where's that Spirit Breaker, and what's he doing in the backlines? He's going for Ibs, but that's not exactly an easy kill, or is it? He'll go down to the Urn Charge. That's a 4 for 1, a 4 for Ditira. That's quite the nice trade for Power Rangers.
Oh man, yeah, especially since Invoker got the Silence and EMP off on the Slark, and when that happens, usually it's just all over. If you're the Slark team, you have to back off because Slark is usually going to be doing some heavy lifting, but Cheshire Cat still was holding onto the wall, made 2 illusions of both the Invoker and the Drow Ranger, and got a lot of damage off of that Drow Ranger illusion onto Drow Ranger, so they end up cleaning house, and of course Sneeko, at this point with Mask of Madness, can get solo kills on those kind of softer heroes of Fab 5, and I assume he got a Greater Bash in there, because by this time he should be getting some luck or something, but either way, it's now Power Rangers officially doubling up the kills of Fab 5. They're plus damage from Drow Ranger, plus 40, which is respectable right now for 20 minutes, but it just seems like no matter how much plus damage they have, it's just not enough, especially since Sachlo now has a Yule Scepter, so you could put a lot of damage onto him, but the odds of actually killing him, outside of just sheer burst, is very slim, and you're never going to kill a puck with sheer burst. He has Yule Scepter and Phase Shift, so good luck doing that.
Yeah, it does look like Fab 5 is setting up wanting to fight. However, this could be folly. This could be very unpleasant. J4 ready to set up, so is Sashlo, and they do have the Dream Coil. Hell, they've got all of their ults except the Wall of Replica available, so could be one hell of a brawl right here. Tib, he's hiding up near the tower. He's going to ideally be the first target they pick off, but Villic will be charged, and there's very little for him to do here other than die. But EMP, Cold Snap are going to drop. Ditira will fall. That's how much damage is alpharable coming out of Power Rangers, but they're going to lose Keck. Swap back onto the other side of the wall. That's not exactly what Zmai should have done. Pigs go onto Zmai. Oh, he realizes his mistake, but Tip will take a fall as well. That's a 4 for 1 once more. The Visage still alive for a few seconds longer, and he will be found, killed, and outright stomped into the floor at this rate. There's just no way to stop this. Godlike triple kill Cheshire Cat on that Darkseer. That's one of the things I do love to see out of Cheshire Cat. He does play one hell of a Darkseer, and that's a full 5-man wipe in favor of PR and what will most likely be a top tier 2 tower.
So Sneeko grabbed a DD rune before he actually charged in, so he was able to kill off Jakiro before Jakiro was able to do anything, and well, Jakiro was very close to casting a spell, but everyone knows how god-awful it is to cast spells. Jakiro takes forever, and he was not able to do anything before Sneeko was able to bash him down, so it's a massively won fight for the Power Rangers, he said, taking a tier 2 tower off of that as well. Slark really has to be a little bit more careful, as Fab 5 do have quite a few tools at bursting him down. If he's going to get silenced, if he can't Shadow Dance, then Slark really doesn't have that many options, because he wants to use Shadow Blade to initiate every single time. That being said, Ditira can die every single fight, and still Power Rangers can be in such a great position because they do have so many other heroes that can do so much more. And even if the Slark dies every single fight from here on in, the Spirit Breaker is going to just be going ham all the while. So, you know, the carry Spirit Breaker is not too terrible either. They're going to catch Villic, or are they? Sentry Ward going to drop. They don't see anyone just yet. No, they actually do see someone. It's going to be Ibs, who is completely surrounded in melee heroes. He's going to be butchered. Now they're looking for more. They're going to blink forward, looking for Zmai. Yule Scepter, not going to be used just yet because he wants to save it defensively. Gus into Draw. He will buff that one out, and taking a lot of damage from the Drow Ranger will die to a familiar drop. Cheshire Cat also taking a lot of damage from the Cold Snap in Tower Range as well. Gets mech'd up, but here comes Shotza with a 2-man orb through, plus a coil onto 2. The Spirit Breaker going to charge through everyone. Trying to go for Keck, will pop the dust so that he can continue to try to get that kill. Magic Missile will slow him down, has no another strike either. Zmai taking a lot of damage and has to fall back at the same time. Drow Ranger buying back to respawn, trying to get eyes on Sneeko, but I don't even think he could do this. Sneeko was a free charge out, and everyone else from Fab 5 going to survive, but Drow Ranger buys back for nothing. It's still a beneficial trade for Power Rangers. In fact, Venge also buys out, So that's a 3 for 2 with 2 buybacks, and Power Rangers can call that one yet another victory.
Yeah, and with all those buybacks spent, I can see Power Rangers thinking, let's wait for our Darkseer to become alive again, and then just force the mid-tower. They have that capability now with those 2 buybacks on cooldown. But I will point this out, when Tib was standing on that high ground, just raining in death with those arrows, he did a lot of damage. There is damage potential out of Tib, but it's surviving. That is the biggest problem he has right now. Because, sure, if he gets charged by anyone, be it by Ditira, be it by the Spirit Breaker of Sonny, it's just him dead. There is no way the Drow can survive this one. And I'm seeing a Shadow Amulet on the Spirit Breaker, so we're going to have an invisible charge of darkness in a moment.
Yeah, like he actually needed that. I mean, he's been demolishing everyone. They're going to go for tech over towards mid. Ditira will buff out the Tornado, actually. Still, all of his mana will be lost, and this is something that Slark is going to have to deal with for the rest of this game. So Invoker gets to live, but here comes the Spirit Breaker. He has his eyes set up on top lane. I think it's the Drow Ranger. Yeah, it is. So Drow Ranger right now is not really close to anyone except for the Skywrath Mage, so not good times for her. Concussive is there, and here comes the Invisible Cow. Oh, man, come on. Well, at least the enemies didn't see it, I guess. That's kind of nice. Shacho also messing with some familiars as Villic tries to TP out. Ditira can't find him in time. Even if he did, can't disrupt that TP. So it's no one dying just yet. Sneeko now does have his Shadow Blade revealed. Fab 5, though, even though they don't lose anyone there, this is just so clear that they cannot go outside of their base and be safe, really, ever. They have to roam around as a 5-man squad, and you don't really want to be protecting Drow Rangers farm that heavily.
No, they really need more space for the entire team. But wards aren't going to do squat now, and it's only a matter of time before they lose someone else. As Keck was actually hunting for a Cheshire Cat. That could have been quite the nice kill, but just Cheshire Cat's positioning keeps him safe from that tornado. So even with wards up, even with good vision around the map, an invisible charge of darkness, an invisible space cow. Oh, the nightmares that we're seeing this game.
You need sentries and observers everywhere, or a gem, but good luck holding on to a gem. Keck on bottom lane is going to get initiated upon, or the courier. That's good too. Get the courier. There it is. 175 plus. Swap back onto Sneeko. He's silenced up, and he's going to take a very fast fall. No response just yet for Power Rangers, except for that courier kill. Jump out from Ditira, and Fab 5, maybe that's worth it. I mean, they don't lose anyone else. Now they can actually fight. Sacrificing a courier like that, I don't think that was their plan, but it ended up working out pretty well for them. They're going to catch Ditira with an Ice Path, but catching this Slark with mana is next to impossible, especially when he has the rest of his team right behind him looking for his mine. He's going to jump way too far ahead of the rest of his team. The Vengeful Spirit Silence is going to take a very fast fall. The rest of the heroes going to get pulled back into a vacuum. No mana for Wall, however. Cheshire Cat going to fall short. Tornado going to fly through onto 3 with the Macropyre already down, but doesn't matter. Cheshire Cat will take down, actually Puck will fall to the Invoker first of all. Cheshire Cat also running away with his Surge. Looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Ice Arrows will slow him down enough for one more hit. That's going to be his death as well. Power Rangers decided to turn things around, and unfortunately for Darkseer, if he had a little bit more mana, that would have been a clean sweep on Fab 5. That was 3 heroes pulled into a potential wall, but it doesn't really matter. Vacuum without wall is not exactly the best. Vacuum without follow-up.
Yeah, I'll agree to that, but I'm going to analyze that fight in 3 ways, first of all. First, I'll address the courier. The courier dying, tactically disabling the enemy's courier, usually a wise idea. However, the Fab 5 team are so heavily locked into their base, that doesn't really matter that much. They're going to get a Roshan now, which is going to help. But gold-wise, they got more gold for killing the Spirit Breaker than the enemy team got for killing the Courier. So that wasn't a good snipe on the Courier, for 1. For 2, I have to mention it just to cover my own ass here. The throw potential is real. But now the Aegis is going to be forced by Sonny, so that's at least one beneficial thing. But there is throw potential here for Power Rangers. I have to mention, just because of the advantage Power Rangers have, the comeback potential for Fab 5 is there if they can get the kills. And they have proven they can get the kills, but Visage will actually get the kill onto the Skywrath Mage of J4. That's going to help out to no end, but he needs to get the hell out of dodge. Will TP out, and the Spirit Breaker not going to find him this time.
They'll actually go right into an Observer Ward. Where the hell is Sneeko going? Okay, now he's just dead because he didn't cancel that. So,
yeah, he should have cancelled that one. Sonny in a lot of trouble.
Oh wait, no, there's no True Sight. Okay, so even with Shadowblade Slark and Shadowblade Spirit Breaker, there's no True Sight. There was a gem on Keck. He's actually going to snipe off onto Slark. My god. Okay, so Power Rangers, they are still far ahead. right now, but Fab 5, they're getting a lot of free picks. And again, if they keep their Drow Ranger alive, everyone on Fab 5 now hitting with plus 58. This damage is certainly adding up, and Slark certainly knows about it by this point in time, but Power Rangers, their top objective has to be get someone on top of the Drow Ranger. You don't even have to kill her, you just have to make sure that she's not getting anything. She's going to disrupt Sunico once again from his charge. I think that was actually a blind gust. They don't have any sentries over here, and he was invisible, so they will cancel this Spirit Breaker, keep the Drow safe for now, and Fab 5, they're certainly behind, but they're not out of it just yet. If Power Rangers had a set of Raxes right about now, then they'd be feeling a lot better about themselves, but that's not going to happen for a very long time.
Yeah, and we can just prove this fact. Look at the graphs. That is one hell of an experience graph, and it's only going to get worse as they fight possibly a Skyrath Mage and a Darkseer. In comes the Puck, all big into this fight. Vacuum onto 3. But Mystic Flare won't land, unfortunately. However, the counter kill onto J4 could be there. The Frost Arrows slowing down Cheshire Cat in the meantime. Cheshire Cat will fall. They're going to also bring down that Skyrath Mage. Villic now on a double kill. What a turn of events. And now everyone's going to TP out. They don't want to hang around. And I see another fight breaking out. Sonny in a lot of trouble. Down goes the Spirit Breaker. Now, what I was saying about throw, this is so heavily true. Look at that experience graph drop. What was a 14,000 experience lead, now down to 2. Gold-wise, 20k got lead, near enough, down to 10. It is doable.
Well, Power Rangers, they are definitely not playing, they're still playing fast and loose, and I think that's just a problem. It's kind of how their draft is supposed to function. Whenever you pick up a Spirit Breaker, you're kind of just supposed to just go in and, you know, see what happens once you actually do land that charge. But they can't really afford to be doing that right now. They're just going to get out-kited. The positioning in that last fight up on the top lane was perfect for the Drow Ranger. She was in the back. She was hidden behind the trees, so Power Rangers with all their melee heroes can't really get to the Drow Ranger very easily unless they initiate on her with some sort of skill. They're going to have an opportunity to kill off Tib right now, but she has a BKB. Well, I don't really know if that's going to help her that much. She's going to turn around with the Gust. Ditchira, rather, and the Haste is cornered right now. Doesn't have a BKB of his own. He's trying to run away. Shadow Dance not there. He's going to take a fall. Tib standing strong still. He's now going to go for shots, though. Soul Scepter will be dodged by the Puck. Here comes Space Cow. Tornado will not do anything. Where is this Spirit Breaker? Needs a little bit more time to close in, but the Drow Ranger gets to live, and they kill off the Slark, who's right now is almost completely useless. Sunico thinking about going in on someone, but can't really find the target. His target is and always will be Tib for the rest of the game, but they're going to look to set up on Cheshire Cat now. And Cheshire Cat, he's been pushing this one out, feeling pretty safe about his positioning, but suddenly he's in a lot of trouble because he's going to hit with an Ice Path and an EMP. He doesn't have much mana to do much of anything. He actually dropped down to half, but it doesn't matter because he's already dead. Fab 5, they're just finding pick-off after pick-off after pick-off, and Power Rangers, they are slowly but surely losing their grasp on this game. This Drow Ranger is putting out so much damage, and if you can't kill her, man, that's just not good enough. You have to be able to burst her down at any stage of the game, else you're just going to end up losing it.
Yeah, and now with the BKB on the Drow, that's been there for, well, I believe that was the first usage. Yeah, that was the 10-second BKB just used. That's going to be oh so much harder to burst the Drow. I mean, losing all of the magical damage of the Puck then means you've only really got the physical damage of Ditira, who is dying a lot. I mean, that's a 5/7/9 Ditira, that's unheard of. And a Spirit Breaker whose physical damage isn't really that high because he's a 4-roll Spirit Breaker. We've got another charge coming for bot lane now. Are we going to see this one be a commit, though? Tib, everyone else, TPing away. They want nothing to do with this. But Slark does deny the tower. That's going to be one good thing. And now everyone runs the hell away. Everyone is out of dodge, and the fight will reset.
It's maybe a problem of slow initiation for Power Rangers. Maybe it's just the fact that Drow Ranger is now pretty much immune to initiation with the Gust, which has so far just been a lifesaver for not only herself, but for everyone on the Fab 5 side. With the BKB, in case the Puck does jump in for a blink-in coil or something like that, there's really no great way for Power Rangers to take this fight anymore. It is still possible for them to take a fantastic fight. They just need it to be really clustered. They need to, I don't know, maybe wait until Fab 5 try to go for a Roshan or something like that, and then just abuse the fact that Fab 5 won't have anywhere to kite, will just be a whole bunch of ranged heroes at the mercy of melee heroes. But if the fight doesn't happen in those close quarters, if Fab 5 keep their Drow in the back, if they have room to kite with the Drow Ranger, then it's just all over Power Rangers. They need more burst, they need, or you know, lucky stuns, or a Mystic Flare is probably their best bet after a stun, but you know, that's so far not been happening. So Fab 5, they are right now right back into this game. Gold experience, it's slowly approaching that 0 mark. As I said, was 20, now up down to 5, and experience earned now in favor of Fab 5. This is what happens when you lose one too many heroes one too many times. You end up throwing away a huge lead.
Yeah, and Invoker now has a Scythe of Ice. This is going to be a very hard fight for Power Rangers to go for, and they're going to try to commit to this tower. However, they're going to have a surprise on the sidelines as there's 3 familiars ready to initiate. Sashlo could get stunned out here. Triple stun onto Sashlo. Blink forward, Ewell's Harbor. Can they kill that puck? They really want to, but no, he should be safe. Or not, he's actually got ticked before the BKB could be disabled, but now the fight's going to break out. They've got the illusions, they've got the wall of replica stuff in there. Sonny going to look to bring down Tib. If Tib goes down, this is going to be pretty big, but he gets swapped out. Another swap, a good one this time. Can they finish him off? Yes, they can, but now Sonny will die within the base. It's a double kill for Cheshire Cat in the meantime, but Deafening Blast, you've got Keck trying to do everything possible. He needs to finish off Cheshire Cat. He's got Ibs behind him. He was slowed up, but with the Darkseer dying, it's really an even trade, minus the buyback, of course, of that Drow Ranger. But they tried to breach high ground. Sure, they had a good fight. They couldn't follow it up. And they couldn't bring down any objective. And without getting objective after a kill like that, it's a wasted set of cooldowns, really.
And fighting against Fab 5's base is going to be the most difficult thing possible, just because it is always possible of kiting within your own base. You have so much room to maneuver, and Power Rangers, they mitigated that fact because they actually had a wall drop this time. In pretty much every single previous fight, I think there hasn't been a wall. That's been the first wall in a very long time that's actually been dropped, and it caught 3 heroes as well. So Power Rangers take the fight probably as good as they possibly can, yet it still comes out even. And that was also with Slark's first usage of BKB. Fab 5, they just have to make sure they don't get hit with that wall. That is probably going to be their #1 concern at this point. It's no longer the Spirit Breaker, it's no longer the Slark, it's really not even the puck any longer. Just make sure you don't group up for the vacuum wall, because that can destroy Fab 5. That's really, at this point, the only thing that can convincingly destroy Fab 5.
I would be inclined to agree, but I'm now looking at Fab 5 and I'm thinking, what do they do next? What items? Because if they push out and they take a poor fight, they could still lose quite easily. However, if they push out with, say, an objective in mind, where do they push? I should think maybe top tier 1, go for top tier 1 into tier 2 maybe, and have TPs ready to defend if any shenanigans happen. That could work. And item-wise, where do they go? I'm thinking Refresher Invoker, just because he's gone cross-wax, he has that mana pool, he's already got a Scythe and a Orchid. So having 2 Scythes, 2 Orchids could work. But now, well, Sonny's going to charge through. However, it gets seen. Gus is there. He's going to be completely stopped. Puck's trying to bring down anyone he can find, but he just can't manage it, especially considering his initiators have been completely isolated. Cheshire Cat's going to potentially go down as well. The Dream Core's going to drop on 3, but who's going to fall first? Ivs picks up the dominating spree onto the Skywrath Mage, and they're going to lose the Spirit Breaker as well in exchange for a Jakiro. But now you've got Ditira trying to chip away at Tib. Starting to bring him down, but there's the swap defensively. That's going to buy some time, but Zmai will go down to Ditira, and Ditira's doing some work here, but now in comes Ivs with his with his Aghanim Scepter familiars just chipping away at him, but Ivs does manage to TP out in time, and Tib needs to get away from Sonny, but just can't manage it. A 3 for 3. I believe we had buybacks. Did we have buybacks on the side of... Yes, we did. We had 2 buybacks on the side of Power Rangers, so it's a 3 for 3 and 2 buybacks. So fairly even so far, but we need buybacks for Fab 5, and they just don't have any. But Side device onto Sonny, 4 stuff away. He needs to stay alive. Keck needs to survive. If Keck goes down, this game could be over.
Well, it's this time Power Rangers who have to actually use their gold in order to secure that fight, as Spirit Breaker, if he didn't buy back, Drow Ranger would have just laid into Slark. Finally, Slark having an opportunity to do something, and that was even after just a terrible, terrible wall from Cheshire Cat. The wall hit onto 2, I believe, but they were in the macro pyre, so the illusions didn't actually do anything. So Nico is going to dive right into a cold snap. Now he's going to get almost completely chain stunned. Ivs is in a corner right now. Drow Ranger's still down, so everyone on Fab 5 doing a lot less damage at this point in time. Ivs stuck in a corner, will be dropped, but Cheshire Cat also hexed up, taking quite a bit of damage, stuck in the ice path now. Shotshell going to help him with the coil. Here comes Ditchira as well, going straight for Villic macro pyre, down in a pretty good position. Cheshire Cat going to walk right through it. That's not where you want to go. Ditchira into the Shadow Dance or Shadow Blade or something. He's going to get himself away. Invoker does buy back now. Familiar's still flying overhead, but with no Drow Ranger for another 37 seconds. Power Rangers, they can still go for this if they really choose to do so, but no, they have to fall back. Tornado chasing forward, Fab 5 looking for someone. They're not going to find much of anything right now. Yet all of this, you could still say it's Power Rangers, I think, with a 1 fight, albeit, you know, it'll be slight if you do say that. They still have yet to take any objectives. Their bottom lane is, you know, really roughed up, Fab 5, but it's still surviving. The Raxes are still intact, and this game is going to continue. Oh man, this is definitely not where I expected this game to go after the start that Power Rangers have had, but they're not done yet. They're going to charge forward. Nico is going to let himself be known because of hitting some familiars, going straight for Keck with another strike. There's the Mystic Flare combination. That should have been happening a long time ago. They're also going to run to Zmai, going to get silenced up immediately. J4 going to try to get himself some space, but you can't actually run from these familiars. It's just not possible. J4 will be the trade. Still a worthy trade for Power Rangers to make, and it's a convincing one at that. But Nico's sticking around still. Why is he still here? I don't really know. Shit, I mean, there's no reason to be there still. You just lost your ally. You probably shouldn't be there.
Yeah, that was a very questionable play by Sonny there. And just look how quickly the tables have turned. Now we've got Tib. He's healthy once again, 3,000 gold. What's he go for now? Manta maybe? Satanic? Both of these would work quite nicely. Hell, first priority though, Aegis. If he gets this Aegis, this is going to be very rough for the Power Rangers, because they're going to have to bring down Tib twice. And they already have to invest a lot to kill him once, let alone twice.
And Tib is going to be able to hold his BKB, and maybe Power Rangers will feel like, oh, we should probably just kill off this Drow Ranger, and we'll be able to win the fight after that. But, I mean, killing her off the first time is easy. Killing her off the second time is really hard, unless you kill off everyone else from Fab 5. And I'm not really sure that's in the cards right now for Power Rangers. I guess there is a small opening where Drow Ranger is dead. She doesn't have her aura active anymore, so everyone in Fab 5 doing a lot less damage, but actually making use of that is going to be next to impossible. So for right now, it's an Aegis being claimed by Fab 5. It's the objective that is closest to their base, so it's understandable why they would go for that. And Power Rangers, is there anything that they could get that'll help them break this? A Sheep Stick on anyone would be great, but Puck is investing deep into the Dagon, looking to burst the Drow down instead of holding her out, and I don't really know if that's the correct decision, at least not anymore.
A Scythe of Ice, I think, is the perfect item that Power Rangers need on at least one, if not two, of their heroes. But right now, PR, I'm going to say, are on a knife edge of losing this game, for the sole purpose of they killed the Invoker, and they didn't capitalize on it at all. Or when they did kill the Invoker, they overcommitted and they lost a few of their heroes to the respawning Drow. If they had killed the Invoker and got out, that would have been fine. If they had killed the Invoker and got the tower and then got out, that equally would have been fine. Killing the Invoker then hanging around and being indecisive does not work on any level of this game. You either have to commit to something or retreat. You cannot be indecisive in Dota.
Now it's just so much more difficult. If they, you know, get onto the top of the Invoker or the Drow Ranger, he has the cheese, she has the Aegis. There's an Assault Cuirass recipe for the Slark, really. That is actually going to be a very nice item to have if it's completed, and it is completed for the Slark. It's not really the item that you would expect a Slark to be picking up, but, you know, up against everyone with plus 70-something damage, plus armor is going to be invaluable. They're also going to run into each other. This is bad positioning for Fab 5 because here comes Treasure Cat, Vacuum Wall, going to connect onto 3. Tibbetts' BKB, though, is going to throw a Gust Wild on Shacho with Dichira just zoning out. Keck is going to be focused down because he's Hex. Dichira going to be dropped down very quickly, but Sneeko right on top of Tib, doing some serious damage, gets Jewel Sceptered out of the way. Villic in the middle of everything right now, surrounded by illusions, but Sneeko to take most of the damage right now. Villic going to go down, but Shacho's going to be even trade right now. And it's only the Scarith Mage to actually get away from there as the Darkseer was forced to buy back. Fab 5, I mean, I said that was terrible positioning, but they actually managed to get into an area where they can kite and back away. I thought the wall was going to be a lot more impactful there.
Yeah, so did I, but they just couldn't hold the targets within range of the illusions. This is the big problem, really, for Power Rangers. Sure, they have brilliant initiation, Spirit Breaker, Slark, and such. However, how do they hold their targets without the Dream Coil? They can't. And even if the Dream Coil's there, BKB and just get the hell out of dodge. It just works so nicely for Fab 5 that Power Rangers lack control. However, let's say Power Rangers had Magnus, an Urchika, anything with one of those long holding stuns. That would be perfect for them. And then the fight would be oh so much harder for the Fab 5. But right now, when I look at Fab 5, part of me wonders, what the hell is Ibs doing with 5.8k gold? He could buy a Sheep Stick now and have comfortably a bit of gold left over.
Divine Rapier Visage or Desolator Visage. That actually used to be a thing, but I don't think I've seen it in a very long time. Either way, Power Rangers, they have no buybacks, but in 10 seconds they'll be able to defend. However, by that time, I think their Raxes are going to be gone here. Yeah, have they just been using their buybacks? Yeah, they just don't have it. Well, they don't have enough gold, and they don't have the timer, so Raxes are entirely dead right now, and Power Rangers, they're going to look to capitalize this with a fight, but Treasure Cat immediately gets silenced right now. They're going to try to zap down Keck, but that's not going to work either. Sneeko going to fall short as Treasure Cat just gets obliterated by those familiars. Zmai and Tib gonna kite around. Ditchy Ra has Shadow Dance. He will use it to just chase forward, but he's not doing enough damage right now. Even if he does catch up to someone, they're gonna land another strike onto Ivs and Zmai, both taking a lot of damage. Treasure Cat can reinitiate, but he has no backup right now. He will be taking a fall. Fab 5 disengaging pretty well so far. In fact, extraordinarily well. Tib still has the Aegis, and actually it's gonna be Suniko to charge to the top lane. Okay, so he's leaving the fight. That's gonna be J4 to get hit with the Ice Path first of all. Shasho also blinked into it right on the edge. He's gonna get gusted up, silenced, and he's gonna be brought down. Digiross still looking for Kex, so desperately wants this Invoker. He'll get him. Invoker doesn't have buyback, but the base is kind of vulnerable now for Power Rangers. And Spirit Breaker does not have a TP, has a charge to get back. Slark does not have a TP either. Fab 5 can just A-move into these towers, and I'm pretty sure take a couple of these tier 4s. Here comes the charge back, but I don't know if it's going to be in time because J4 already brought back. He's going to get obliterated. Chain Stun sitting in the Macropyre. You'll have to save him for now, but the Ancient now taking some damage. Tib and company with the Familiars doing that so much damage, plus 77. They're going to charge forward. It's not even going to be a fight. It's going to be GG. The gold advantage at one point was 20k. Now it's 10k in favor of Fab 5. 10k in experience. Okay, we're going to a game 3, guys, because Power Rangers just threw away a huge lead and ended up losing this game.
I really have no words for that. I mean, what in Divinity's Edge happened? How the hell do you lose a lead like that? I mean, I can understand people taking lessons from EG, but wow, that was unexpected.
Alright guys, so Fab 5 hold on. The damage from the Drow Ranger, her ability to kite, her ability to stay alive, proving to be enough for this game. So this is going to go to a deciding game 3. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Blackadder, and we'll be right back for the third and final game in the series.